Great to have you back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our major stories. NNPC GMD admits subsidy on petrol remains as he gives assurance that the worst of the ongoing fuel crisis is over. Senate Committee on Downstream questions subsidy payment on petrol by the NNPC without the authorization of the legislature. 4 persons killed as gunmen attack Michika, Adamawa State. Police vow to arrest the perpetrators. And anti-government demonstrations erupt in major cities in Iran in protest over economic hardship. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our website. It's channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. And there's something more you can do. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the eyewitness feature with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happening around you. Let's know how you're planning to usher in 2018. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. And here are some of the pictures you already sent into our eyewitness portal today. We begin with this image from Niger State showing a rowdy filling station. Our eyewitness reporter says this has been the case since the scarcity began. And still in the northern region is this picture of an abandoned road project in Kaduna State. The person who sent it in says the road has been in this state for some years now, leaving residents at the mercy of mud and dust, especially during the rainy season. He's calling on the government for help. And this last picture is from Ipaja Ayobo area in Lagos State showing an illegal dump site. The person who sent it in reports that this is unhealthy for the people in the area and is calling on the relevant authorities to remove it. We want to thank you so much for sending in those images, and we do encourage you to keep them coming. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed 6 bills recently passed by the National Assembly into law. Now, one of those bills he assented to is the amendment on the Niger Delta Development Commission Act of 2017, which lists gas producing and processing companies as contributors to the Niger Delta Development Commission in order to increase its funding. The President also signed the bill authorizing the Federal Capital Territory Administration to legally provide funds out of its revenue fund for recurrent and capital expenditure. Other bills signed are those confirming the establishment of the Federal Capital Territory Water Board, the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, the Compulsory Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshot Act, and Anti-Torture Act 2017. The 6 acts have come into effect as laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the President has congratulated his counterpart in Liberia, the President-elect George Weah, on his emergence as the country's #1 citizen. And the statement, the President says, applauds the people of Liberia on the peaceful conduct of the presidential runoff election, describing the exercise as historic and another plus on Africa's democratic scoreboard. The President also commended the role played by the National Electoral Commission of Liberia and the regional body as well as international observers in the process. The President has words of praise for the outgoing President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He says, and I quote, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf deserves special commendation for the statesmanship she has shown in ensuring a free and fair elections that will pave way for a peaceful transfer of political power from one democratically elected leader to another for the first time in 73 years, end of quote. While wishing Liberians a peaceful transition, President Buhari pledged Nigeria's determination to sustain the current cordial relationship with the country. Now let's move over to our Abuja studios now, where Ibrahim Adra is standing by. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hello, Melinda. Good to see you. Well, on this last Friday of 2017, President Muhammadu Buhari played host to Governor of Rivers State Nyesom Wike and his Kebbi counterpart Atiku Bagudu at the Aso Villa in Abuja. The two governors met with the president separately and discussed different issues concerning their states. They spoke to State House reporters after the meeting, during which Governor Wike canvassed for money from the nation's excess crude account. Mr. Wike's mission to the State House is to brief President Buhari on the security issues in his state. He, however, is unwilling to give details.
I have told you, why would I let you know what to discuss, how we're going to go about the security issues I raised. That's why they are called security issues.
And this is how he reacts to the approval of $1 billion to fight insurgency.
For me, it's illegal. For me, it is. However, we're talking about fighting insurgency, and no right-thinking person in the country will say that you will not support the government in fighting against insurgency. But on the other hand, too, I believe that we have been talking about environmental issues in the Niger Delta, particularly the Ogoniland. I believe that we have excess crude. We can also take money from there to solve the problem in Ogoniland and other Niger Delta areas.
He also says his party, the PDP, is poised for success in the 2019 elections in the state and the center.
What is the essence of forming a political party? Is it to just say and watch? The essence is to take over power. You can see that we are doing everything. Take, for example, in my state, we are sure that PDP will win any day, any time. There's no amount of blackmail, there's no amount of intimidation that will stop us from winning the state. So I believe that other people working strong in their state should be able to deliver their own states.
This stand runs contrary to the one held by Governor of Kebbi State, who led a delegation of APC members in his state.
On behalf of the good people of Kebbi State, we pledge our support to Mr. President, whatever or whatever he set for.
He gave reasons for their support for President Buhari.
The successes recorded in security, one cannot imagine what kind of nation we'll be living in without all the efforts of the last 2.5 years. For a country, oil-producing country, to emerge from recession in so short a time, whereas countries that are even seemingly have stronger economies, Russia, Venezuela, Algeria, are still struggling to exit recession, shows the strength of leadership.
While addressing the delegation from Kebbi State, President Muhammadu Buhari said his administration will continue to review and strengthen ongoing reforms in the agricultural sector. A statement from the presidency quotes the president as saying, "We are happy that rice and beans importation into the country have gone down by over 90%. And visibly, everyone can see how productive states like Kebbi have turned out to be, and states like Lagos, Ogun and Ebonyi are following the example." End of quote. There are likely to be many more of such visits to the president and across the nation's political landscape as activities towards 2019 begin to heat up. Well, away from the nation's capital, gunmen have attacked Kamale community in Michika local government area of Adamawa State, killing 4 persons and injuring several others. The lawmaker representing Michika and Madagali federal constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Adamu Kamale, who was at the village at the time of the attack, also escaped from being killed through the mountains. The lawmaker told Channels Television that the identity of the attackers and the motive for the attack is unknown, as he is not sure if they were Boko Haram terrorists or herdsmen. The police public relations officer in Adamawa State, Othman Abubakar, also confirmed the attack and said the command is already on the trail of the perpetrators. On Thursday, a suicide bomber blew himself up in Amaru village near Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, killing 6 people.
We received an information that Kamale under Michika local government was invaded by unknown gunmen. They shot sporadically and thereafter they went for their victims. 4 people were killed and they fled, but the command is doing everything possible to make sure that the perpetrators are brought to book. I want to use this opportunity to call on the members of the community to remain calm. We are going to leave no stone unturned, making sure that we bring them to book.
And still on security, in continuation of Operation Awatse, targeted at keeping the waterways safe within and around Lagos, the Nigerian Navy has embarked on a routine patrol and tour of some jetties and waterside in Ikorodu. The flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Silvanus Abba, who led the team to Majidun Creek, Ebute Waterside and Oronshoki Jati, says the operation is to send a strong warning signal to criminals on our waterways.
You know, the criminals, they have been carrying out their acts at the high sea, piracy and sea robbery. And you see, Lagos by itself is a peaceful place. But the criminals, like I told you, they are coming from elsewhere. Like the last attack that happened in Lagos waters, we have arrested so many of them, and all of them, they are not from Lagos. The 5 of them in our custody, none of them is from Lagos. But they have their accomplices in Lagos here who give them information. That one we are working to get rid of all those things. But let me tell you, Lagos is the hub of all activities. The market is here. The businessmen, they are here. Anybody you kidnap in Lagos, you know that ransom can be handsomely paid. So they plan the operation to come to operate in Lagos area. But we are not resting.
And now to some business-related stories. More state governments are unveiling their spending plans for the 2018 fiscal year. In Katsina and Enugu states, the governors sign off on their budgets, while the governor of Adamawa State made a presentation to the State House of Assembly.
It's barely 44 days after Governor Bello Masari presented the 2018 budget estimate before members of the State House of Assembly in the sum of 211.4 billion naira. After hours of scrutiny with the special advisor on budget, they've come to get the governor's assent to the document.
Our focus are the people, and we believe if we are able to improve the quality of lives of our people, to improve their economic capability and capacity, Katsina will move faster than it is moving now.
For Adamawa State, Governor Jubarile has signed 177.9 billion naira as the state's 2018 budget, saying his administration will prioritize empowerment programs.
At this time, in 2018, after having the Paris Club, we gave them 500 million, meaning every member will go with 220 million naira constituency project. It's not cash. It's constituency project, so that I'm sure you know the budget of this year will target as a budget of hope and empowerment, so that they can go and give hope and empower their people from the first place.
The Enugu State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, presented a budget of 98.5 billion naira to state lawmakers, a decrease of 7% from last year's budget.
The 2018 budget estimate, which we tagged budget of sustainable economic growth. This is because we intend to strategically build on the solid foundation that we've already laid by this administration, creating an enabling environment that encourages full development of our human and natural resources, recruiting our social services, as well as building vital infrastructure for sustainable and inclusive development.
And in Osun State, southwest Nigeria, 174 billion naira is being proposed as the government's budget estimate for 2018.
The draft budget is tagged Budget of Enduring Legacy and is anchored on the avowed commitment of this administration to provide a conducive living environment, living, working and recreating environment for the people of the state.
As the year gradually draws to a close, more state governments are expected to come up with their spending plans for the new year.
And when the news at 10 returns, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry forecasts 3 to 4% GDP growth rate for Nigeria's economy in 2018. That's on Business News. Do join us again.